When it comes to Rick and Morty, intelligence is not merely measured by raw intellect or scientific prowess, but by the ability to manipulate reality, outthink your opponents, and achieve personal goals. Three characters, Rick Sanchez from Dimension C-137, aka the show's primary protagonist, Evil Morty, and Rick Prime are the clear frontrunners for the title of smartest character. However, despite the brilliance and cunning of each character, which one deserves the title of the smartest character in the show? Each character has accomplished great feats regarding their intelligence, but there undoubtedly is a clear answer for which character is the most intelligent, so let's get to the bottom of this claim by first examining our Rick, the Rick we know and love, Rick Sanchez, C-137. Rick Sanchez from Dimension C-137 is the version of Rick we follow throughout most of the series. His genius is unquestionable. He's practically the definition of a mad scientist, continually proving his intellectual superiority over both friends and enemies. Rick C-137's genius isn't just about scientific achievement, however, it's also about his ability to adapt to any situation. Whether it's taking down the Galactic Federation or creating the Central Finite Curve, a construct designed to ensure that every reality he exists in, he remains the smartest, Rick C-137 is always several steps ahead of everyone else. His constant nihilism, however, often undermines his brilliance. While Rick's intellectual abilities allow him to manipulate the universe and reality to his liking, he often struggles with emotional fulfillment and relationships, showing that while he is one of the smartest beings alive, his own self-destructive tendencies often hold him back from true success. This character trait is what causes him to stick out from other Ricks, and is ultimately what defines him as a much more interesting version of himself when compared to the rest. Rick C-137's adaptability is what allows him to survive in a universe filled with equally brilliant threats, even if he doesn't always win in the traditional sense. He is driven by a relentless quest for power and control, but also by a deep-seated need to defeat Rick Prime, whom he holds responsible for the murder of his family, and who is responsible for the murder of his family. While Rick C-137 embodies intellectual power and resilience, his emotional struggles and self-sabotage undermine his claim to the title of the smartest character. So while in theory he could have become the smartest, his emotional commitments held him back. However, this just makes him human, so while he may not be the smartest, he is an amazing character and my personal favorite in the entire show. Another character that undoubtedly comes to mind when you think of mega geniuses in Rick and Morty is Evil Morty. Evil Morty is an entirely different breed of genius when compared to Rick C-137. First introduced as an alternate version of Morty, the character eventually reveals himself as one of the most calculated, cold-blooded minds in the multiverse. His grand plan in seasons 3 and 5 to dismantle the Central Finite Curve is a testament to his long-term thinking and strategic brilliance. The Central Finite Curve was created to ensure that no universe exists where Rick isn't the smartest being. By escaping this barrier, Evil Morty transcends the limitations imposed by the Ricks, including Rick C-137, and achieves intellectual freedom in the process. One example of Evil Morty's genius lies in his ability to see the flaws in the system designed by Ricks and exploit them. He is the ultimate chess player, quietly moving pieces into place over the course of several seasons before pulling off one of the most successful coups in the show's history. His intelligence is distinct from Rick C-137's in that it is more strategic and long-term. While Rick C-137 is reactionary, Evil Morty works patiently and methodically, demonstrating a level of foresight that surpasses even the smartest of Ricks. That said, Evil Morty's intelligence is much more specialized. While he excels at manipulation and strategic planning, his scientific knowledge and adaptability in chaotic situations do not appear to match that of Rick C-137 or Rick Prime. Even though it appears that Evil Morty has reached levels of inventive competency on par with Rick C-137, it is debatable that his technology has only been built on the technology of other Ricks, and that the reason he understands their technology so well is because of his vast amount of experience. Evil Morty achieves his success by exploiting the arrogance of Ricks rather than by outthinking them on a scientific level. His detachment and ability to remain emotionally cold makes him dangerous, but also limits him. He seeks only to escape and survive, not to dominate and control. So while he might be capable of besting C-137 in a fight, he doesn't want to. He makes it abundantly clear that his only desire is to be left alone, a point that C-137 also claimed but does not actually stick to completely. Evil Morty's lack of emotional engagement may make him free, but it doesn't make him the smartest. So if Rick C-137 and Evil Morty are not the smartest characters in the entire universe of Rick and Morty, who is? Undoubtedly, it is Rick Prime, the original and ultimate Rick. Rick Prime is the central antagonist of the series and the origin of Rick C-137's personal vendetta. Rick Prime is the version of Rick who, unlike others, takes his ruthless genius to the most extreme form. He is responsible for killing Rick C-137's family, and in doing so, set C-137 on the path that would define him as the emotionally broken but intellectually powerful character we know and love. Rick Prime is the architect of the pain that drives Rick C-137, proving that his ability to manipulate others far surpasses that of any other character. Rick Prime's intelligence is distinct from both C-137 and Evil Morty because he is not merely reactive or strategic, he is proactive in reshaping the multiverse to his will. In Season 7, we learn that Rick Prime developed the Omega device, a weapon capable of erasing someone from all realities ever. This underscores his desire for total control over the entire multiverse. The success of the Omega device proves that Rick Prime's genius is capable of altering reality on a permanent level, which supports the idea that his intelligence supersedes the laws of physics and the grandiose of the infinite multiverse. Rick Prime's ambitions stretch far beyond personal revenge or freedom. He seeks to dominate existence itself. This makes him more dangerous and, ultimately, smarter than either C-137 or Evil Morty. Apart from the Omega device, Rick Prime's greatest feats include outsmarting literally everyone else in the entire central finite curve and becoming completely undetectable for decades. He is essentially the ultimate mouse, who's always lurking and causing trouble, but is always just out of reach. His ability to essentially not exist is his greatest feat of all, and what makes him such a frustrating villain for the rest of the Ricks. However, in Season 7, Episode 5, Rick Prime's genius hits a major setback. Evil Morty, Rick C-137, and Morty Prime manage to defeat him, with Evil Morty dealing the final blow to C-137 and finishing him off. While this might seem like a strike against Rick Prime's claim to the title of smartest, it's important to remember that even in defeat, he created technologies and traps that pushed the combined geniuses of his enemies to their limits. Furthermore, his creation of the Omega device and the manipulation of the multiverse shows that his intelligence operates on a level far beyond the immediate tactical thinking of Rick C-137 or the strategic manipulation of Evil Morty. Rick Prime's downfall comes not from a lack of intelligence, but from his arrogance, much like all of the Ricks. Despite this, his overarching vision and ability to execute plans that reverberate across the multiverse make him the smartest. His goals are simple. He wants to become the greatest asshole of all time and to control all realities, and even in defeat, he forces the entire multiverse to reckon with his genius. Rick Prime's death, if he actually is dead, which we'll find out in the next season, is not a sign that Evil Morty is smarter than him, but it instead shows that never in his entire existence had he encountered anyone even close to touching his massive intelligence. Being bested by a Morty was never something he thought possible, so Rick Prime's defeat does support the fact that he's not omniscient, but he is still smarter than any other character we've ever encountered in Rick and Morty. So, in conclusion, Rick C-137, Evil Morty, and Rick Prime all demonstrate immense intelligence, but Rick Prime stands above them all as the smartest character in Rick and Morty. Rick C-137's adaptability and scientific prowess are unmatched in the immediate sense, and Evil Morty's long-term planning and manipulation make him a formidable foe. Yet, Rick Prime operates on a completely higher level. He doesn't just navigate or manipulate the multiverse, he seeks to dominate it entirely. His creation of the Omega device, his role in shaping the central finite curve, and his ability to stay ahead of every other character, even in death, illustrate a mind that is not only brilliant, but revolutionary. While his arrogance and ultimate defeat in Season 7 might suggest a flaw, it also highlights the magnitude of the forces required to take him down. So my question instead, is Rick Prime actually dead? Because yes, we saw him apparently die in Season 7, Episode 5, but is it going to stay that way? Hopefully we find out in Season 8 of Rick and Morty, and if they don't say anything, then I guess we can only assume that he's actually dead, but I have my theories. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this, and comment below what kind of videos you want to see next. Have a great day, and thank you.